What if I told you history is filled with stories so unbelievable they sound completely made up? A board game that secretly helped prisoners escape during World War II. A president who was shot, then calmly finished a 90-minute speech. And a man who somehow survived 2 atomic bombings. And somehow, every one of these stories is true. Here are 5 history facts that sound fake, but aren't. Our next story takes us to Europe during the height of the Second World War. Imagine finding yourself inside a prisoner of war camp. Tall, barbed wire fences surround the compound. Guard towers watch every movement. Escape seems almost impossible. The days pass slowly, and simple comforts become incredibly valuable. One of those comforts was a familiar board game, Monopoly. To most people, it was simply a game about buying streets, collecting rent, and building hotels. But during the war, certain Monopoly games hid a remarkable secret. The British Intelligence Service worked with John Waddington Limited, the company that produced Monopoly in the United Kingdom, to create special editions for prisoners of war. From the outside, the boxes looked completely ordinary. Inside, however, they concealed carefully hidden escape tools. Silk maps that wouldn't tear if they became wet. Real currency from occupied countries. Tiny compasses hidden inside playing pieces. And other survival items designed to help prisoners escape after leaving the camp. The specially prepared games were secretly delivered through charitable organizations that regularly sent care packages to Allied prisoners. German guards, seeing nothing more than a popular board game, often allowed the packages to pass without suspicion. Not every Monopoly game contained these hidden supplies. Only carefully marked editions intended for specific prisoner of war camps carried the concealed escape equipment. Exactly how many successful escapes were aided by these remarkable games remains unknown. Much of the operation stayed classified for many years after the war. Today, the Monopoly escape kits are remembered as one of the most ingenious deception operations of the Second World War. A reminder that sometimes the greatest tools for survival can be hidden in the most ordinary places. Our next story takes us to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on the evening of October 14th, 1912. Imagine standing outside a crowded auditorium as people gather to hear one of America's most famous politicians speak. Campaign banners flutter in the cool autumn air. Supporters eagerly wait for his arrival. Then, just as Theodore Roosevelt steps from his car, a man pushes through the crowd. A gunshot echoes down the street. The bullet strikes Roosevelt in the chest. Panic spreads through the crowd. Many assume the former president has been mortally wounded. But Roosevelt doesn't fall. Instead, he calmly places his hand inside his coat and discovers that the bullet has first passed through 2 unexpected obstacles. A folded 50-page speech and a thick steel eyeglass case. Together, they had slowed the bullet just enough to keep it from reaching his lungs. After briefly coughing to make sure he wasn't bleeding internally, Roosevelt made an extraordinary decision. Rather than going straight to the hospital, he insisted on delivering the speech he had spent weeks preparing. Standing before the audience, he began with words that would soon become famous. It takes more than that to kill a bull moose. For nearly 90 minutes, he continued speaking, despite the bullet still being lodged inside his chest. Only after finishing his address did he allow doctors to examine his wound. Because removing the bullet posed greater risks than leaving it in place, physicians decided not to operate. Remarkably, Roosevelt carried the bullet with him for the rest of his life. Today, the attempted assassination remains one of the most astonishing moments in American political history. A reminder that sometimes determination can be just as extraordinary as history itself. Our next story takes us to Berlin, Germany, during the final days of the Second World War in April 1945. Imagine descending into a reinforced underground bunker deep beneath the streets of the city. Above, artillery echoes in the distance. Buildings shake with every explosion. The once powerful German capital is slowly being surrounded. Inside the bunker, however, life continues in an uneasy silence. Messengers come and go. Military officers study maps. And meals are still served at the usual times. Adolf Hitler had followed a largely vegetarian diet during the later years of his life. On the afternoon of April 30th, 1945, witnesses reported that his final meal was a simple serving of pasta with tomato sauce. There was no grand banquet, no elaborate celebration, just an ordinary meal served in extraordinary circumstances. Shortly afterward, Hitler met privately with several members of his staff. He thanked them for their loyalty and quietly said his farewells. Later that afternoon, he and his wife, Eva Braun, retreated to a private room inside the bunker. A short time later, both were dead. Following Hitler's earlier instructions, their bodies were carried outside into the garden of the Reich Chancellery, where they were covered with gasoline and burned to prevent them from being displayed by advancing Soviet forces. Within days, Berlin surrendered. Soon afterward, Germany's unconditional surrender brought the war in Europe to an end. Today, Hitler's final meal is remembered not because of what was served, but because it marked the final ordinary moment before one of history's most significant chapters came to a close. It is a quiet reminder that even history's most consequential events are often preceded by moments that appear remarkably ordinary. Our next story takes us to Japan during the closing days of the Second World War in August of 1945. Imagine finishing a long day of work in the city of Hiroshima. The morning sky is clear. People are heading to work. Streetcars move quietly through the city. Everything seems perfectly ordinary. Among the workers preparing to return home is an engineer named Tsutomu Yamaguchi. He had traveled to Hiroshima on a business trip and was preparing to leave the city the following day. Then, at 8:15 on the morning of August 6th, history changed forever. A blinding flash lit up the sky. Moments later, the world's first wartime atomic bomb exploded over the city. Yamaguchi survived the blast, though he suffered serious burns and other injuries. Despite what had happened, he managed to find transportation and began the difficult journey back to his hometown. That hometown was Nagasaki. Just 3 days later, while reporting what he had witnessed to his supervisor, another brilliant flash suddenly filled the sky. A second atomic bomb exploded over the city. Remarkably, Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived once again. He became the only person officially recognized by the Japanese government as having survived both atomic bombings. In the years that followed, Yamaguchi dedicated much of his life to speaking about the devastating human cost of nuclear weapons. He lived until 2010, sharing his experiences in the hope that future generations would never witness such destruction again. Today, his story remains one of history's most extraordinary tales of survival. A reminder that even in humanity's darkest moments, the strength to endure can sometimes seem almost impossible to believe. Our next story takes us to Mexico City on the afternoon of June 22, 1986. Imagine sitting among thousands of spectators inside a packed football stadium. The crowd is alive with anticipation. Flags wave through the air. The noise echoes across the field as two longtime rivals prepare to face one another. On one side is Argentina. On the other is England. Just 4 years earlier, the two nations had fought the Falklands War, and emotions remained strong on both sides. The match was tied as the second half began. Then came one of the most famous moments in the history of sports. An Argentine forward named Diego Maradona sprinted toward a loose ball as England's goalkeeper rushed forward to catch it. Both players leaped into the air. The ball glanced into the net. The referee awarded the goal. England's players immediately protested. They believed Maradona had struck the ball with his hand rather than his head. But without the benefit of modern video replay, the officials allowed the goal to stand. After the match, Maradona famously joked that the goal had been scored a little with the head of Maradona and a little with the hand of God. The phrase quickly became known around the world. Just a few minutes later, Maradona scored another goal. This time, there was no controversy. He dribbled past 5 English players before calmly putting the ball into the net. Many still consider it one of the greatest goals ever scored. Together, the two moments transformed an already memorable match into one of the most famous sporting events in history. Today, the hand of God remains one of football's most debated goals. A reminder that sometimes a single split-second decision can become part of history for generations to come. Those were 5 history facts that sound completely fake, but actually happened. If you enjoyed this video, there's plenty more unbelievable history still to uncover, so be sure to subscribe for more bizarre history every week. And tell me in the comments, which story was the hardest to believe? Until next time, remember, history is often stranger than fiction.